Yo, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. And I just got back from seeing a little movie called Black Adam, so this is going to be my straight up first impressions review. I just got back like an hour ago, gave myself a little bit to think about it, and well, I gotta say, I was looking forward to this movie. I really was. I was actually very much excited for it. I thought the trailers looked really fun. Didn't know too much about the character, but I do know a little bit about him, and the character is an interesting one to have an entire movie based around, especially like he's way closer more to the villain side. I guess he's more like an anti-hero. He's there to protect what's his, and he'll do anything he can. He's like Peacemaker a little bit. He'll do what he can. If he has to kill a bunch of people, he'll do it. Yeah, close enough. So, from what I understand, I'm sure some people will be like, no, that's wrong. In this one, he's like this, and this one, he's like that. I don't know. From what I understand, he's a anti-hero, definitely. Or just not even like an anti-hero. He doesn't even consider himself a hero. He's just a protector of Kahndaq, right? That's what it's called. That's the city he loves. But this is a movie I was looking forward to because I thought the trailers looked fun. Dwayne Johnson seemed like he was really into this. Like he was like really excited about it. And like, yeah, I've been wanting to play Black Adam for years. So I was excited because the trailers looked solid, and I like the premise of a hero, but he's not really a hero. We don't get too many of those. Even the Suicide Squad, both movies, end up they're the heroes towards the end, pretty much. I love the Suicide Squad, but they become heroes pretty much towards the end. There's still some villains here and there for the most part, but yeah, they're still the heroes, in a way. But not in a way, they are. But they're still villains. They just do a heroic act at the end. So I was looking forward to this because I just want to see Dwayne Johnson murder some dudes. And hey, if you wanted to see a movie where Dwayne Johnson disintegrates a bunch of army soldier dudes, in slow motion, and you get to see skeleton and arms fly off and him crushing dudes, throwing them in the sky, letting them fall to their death. You get that. You get a good amount of that, surprisingly. I thought the scene we saw, like, I want to say almost a year ago at this point, like it was like an early like sneak peek of that one scene where you see him like disintegrate a bunch of dudes when he first awakens. I thought that'd probably be it, but then we saw the trailers and I was like, oh no, there's a couple times where he's throwing people and stuff, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then the movie, I'm like, the first half, I would say, after the first 20 minutes, which is a very slow start, I will say. After that, the rest of the first half, plenty of that. You get plenty of like, oh, people messing with Black Adam. He's gonna throw him against a wall. He's gonna crush him. He's gonna use electricity. Or lightning. Same shit. The lightning sounds cooler. You get plenty of that, and I really enjoyed that stuff. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, some of the green screen effects aren't very good, but I like the lightning. I like the disintegration effects. I think that stuff is cool. I think Dwayne Johnson is very understated here. I like him like this, in this movie, in this kind of role, where he's very imposing. He doesn't say too much, but he's scary. When he first awakens, he's actually really scary with his fucking hood on and stuff, and he's just destroying these dudes. It's really, really fun. Even though that one scene of him hitting the jet wasn't in there in the trailer, I really like that scene. I don't think it was, at least. He does knock a hell... Well, no, actually, maybe it was in there. I don't know. At a certain point, my brain started to drift a little bit because this movie has a lot of action, and sometimes you're just like, okay, yeah. So maybe it wasn't there. I don't know. Yeah, I just saw this movie, so, like, didn't help that I didn't have, like, a lot of sleep today. So, yeah, so there's plenty of that. You get a lot of him killing people. You have the JSA, of course, the Justice Society of America, coming to tell him, hey, stop murdering people. Hawkman's like, stop murdering people. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna murder people. And he throws them around and shit. And that stuff is fun. I would say the first half, maybe even leaning towards the first part of the second act. All that stuff is fun. I think the movie fucking there's a part where Black Adam leaves the movie for a little while and it becomes so fucking dull. I couldn't stay. I was like barely keeping myself from falling asleep. And it's hard when the movie might as well be screeching at you with the loudest fucking sound ever. Like, my theater is usually not too loud. I did not see this in IMAX, by the way. It felt like I did because, good fucking God, it was so loud. It actually reminded me of Man of Steel in that way, where Man of Steel is just like, action, here's a bunch of destruction, blah. Except Man of Steel, for the most part, when I first watched it, like almost 10 years ago at this point, which is crazy. I really enjoyed it. I was just really excited for that movie. I'm sure if I watch it now, I'd be like, But this one, it's just like, there's characters I just don't care about. Like, I don't really care about any of the Justice Society of America, which sucks because I was really excited for Dr. Fate and even Hawkman and some of these characters. Like, I wanted to like these characters. I just didn't have a reason to, is my problem. Because they barely dived even close to deep at all in some of these characters. Which is unfortunate because I was excited for Dr. Fate mainly because I love Pierce Brosnan. But that character was also cool. I played Injustice 2. He was really cool in that. Like I was like excited to see characters like that. Even Hawkman. Like, but they're barely they might as well be. They're not cameos because they're in it for quite a bit. But they have no character really. Like they have a little bit. Like, oh, Dr. Fate and Hawkman are friends, but you don't really ever feel it. And like, oh, they try to. There's two other characters, Atom Smasher, and who's the big guy, and then you have Cyclone, who's the girl with the wind. She's in the trailer too. And they're trying to do like a maybe romance there, but like none of it really matters. It's so quick, all the stuff between those characters, and you just don't feel any camaraderie really. And every time they're on screen, I'm just like, go back to Black Adam. I like when he's just roaming around, floating through the city, ramming himself through walls. People are like, just use a door. He's like, no. And he just rams himself through walls. He doesn't give a shit. I like that. I really like that stuff. And we get a good amount of it. That's why I'm not being super negative about this movie, but when we don't get it, I feel like the movie is dull as shit. It's duller than a bowling ball. That's what freaking Foghorn Leghorn would say about this. I don't have too much to say about this movie. I think the villain is fucking lame as a motherfucker, though. Everybody talks about how Marvel has some lame villains. But good Lord, this might be the lamest one I've seen in the last, like, 15 years. Like, straight up, for superhero movies. I say that because we can go back to, like, the original Ghost Rider, and which I think that was 15 years ago, but whatever. Since 15 years ago, so actually that makes sense. Like, what was his name? The fucking Devil's Son who gets killed because he's a fucking idiot and consumes all the souls, and now he has souls to burn. I think 16, 17 when that movie came out, I fucking face palmed in theater. I'm like, are you fucking see? You even said I have no souls to burn. Then I got millions of souls. Now you got a million souls to burn. And you got fucked up real hard. I was blown away. Anyway, Malekith is lame. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Malekith isn't lame. He's kind of funny to make fun of. This villain, I don't want to say who it is, just in case, but it's a spoiler. But the villain in this, because there is a villain, it's not just Black Adam who's the villain, is so lame. They should have just got rid of the villain and just made it a Black Adam versus the JSA movie, and then make it like, if you want Black Adam to be less of a villain where he's just destroying everything, they could have easily made it so that they see eye to eye at one point and they don't fight anymore or something. But they wanted a villain because they want a big action scene with a big villain, big demon man, and it's so fucking lame. It's so lame. It's weak action, a lot of slow motion, which I actually don't normally mind, but it felt like Zack Snyder was like creeping in, like, you gotta do it. So there's a lot of, I don't even think he had a hand in this at all, but it felt like he did, because there's so much of that slow motion, the stop, fast forward slow motion thing where they go, ooh, and then they go, whoa, like 300 and fucking a lot of the other movies he makes. And usually I don't mind that, but there's times here it gets way too much. And it's actually laughable at times, too, because they're like, Black Adam screaming, and you go, ah! And we get like a super close-up shot of his face. Not that I didn't like that stuff. I thought it was funny, but, there's a little bit too much of that in some scenes. Like Cyclone, whenever she's on screen, every time she's doing a move, she's like, I'm like, good Lord. Which is weird because they don't do that much with Atom Smasher, which would make sense because he's a giant dude, so him going slow would make sense. But I mean, he does go slow, but he doesn't do it. They don't do it with him as much as they do it with other characters. Dr. Fate, his moves were cool, but again, not much of a character there. We don't even really get a good idea of his abilities, really. Like, not really, at least. I get it. It's not a Dr. Fate movie. It's not a Hawkman movie. It's not a Cyclone movie. That'll never happen. Atom Smasher, that won't ever happen. And every time they said Atom Smasher, I was thinking of fucking Cyberpunk Edge Runners the entire time. This is Atom, not Addum. Addum. So, it kept fucking with me. But, yeah, it's just, I know it's not a movie for those, but if you throw them in there, you can't just have them be blah, whatever. They have to have some character, and they barely do. Not enough for me. Every time they showed up, they took away from what I really like, which is a Black Adam movie. Everything about Black Adam, though, I really enjoyed. Even the goofy stuff. Even him, like, talking to this one kid who... I don't want to shit on the kid actor, but the kid actor was really bad in this. Especially later, he has, like, one scene where he has to do a speech. I was like, good. That was probably one of the worst line deliveries I've heard in a big motion picture like this in at least a little while. I'm sure there was something recently that I'm just forgetting about right now. But like a big movie, like a $150-200 million budgeted movie. Because good lord was that bad. Yeah, I don't want to show him. But like even to hit some of the interactions with the kid. The kid talking to him, not so much. But when he has like interaction with a kid, that was all right. And Dwayne Johnson did a really good job with that. And I like that stuff. But again, my favorite stuff, Black Adam going around, messing stuff up. I even learn about his backstory, even though they spoil it in the trailer, because there's a reveal that, oh, maybe he's not who you think he is. And I'm like, they already spoiled that in the trailer. I was waiting for that reveal because the trailer spoiled it. Now, of course, if you're a big fan of the comics, you probably already know that, but me, I'm not. So it would have been nice not to have that spoiled, but whatever. They spoiled it in the trailer, so I was like, all right, well, I already knew that was coming. Not that it would have blown my mind, but I'm still like, the reveal of his character was that. And I already knew it because you told it in the trailer. It was like more than halfway through the movie too. And like I said, there's a part where he leaves the movie for a good like 20 to 30 minutes, really, it feels like. And when he shows up, it doesn't really get much better. Like he shows up and it's like, oh, here we go. And then it kind of ends like a couple minutes later. I'm like, oh, and then the movie ends and then the post-credit scene happens, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. I liked it, but I had it spoiled for me. So I won't mention it, but it's really cool. If you can go into this movie without it being spoiled, then anyway. Yeah, so for the most part, special effects were all right. There was some bad green screen, but at this point, that's to be expected, I guess, from a big Hollywood movie. That's sad to say, but it's true. But special effects were fine. Like for the most part, they weren't terrible. I thought the lightning again was cool. The disintegration effects were cool. Seeing someone just melt. A lot of side characters were boring. The humor itself, I will say, also was like, I don't want to say 50-50. I don't want to give it too much credit. I want to say like 30%, 70%. But what the 70%, 30% funny, 70% not funny. But I would say that 70% not funny wasn't like groan worthy. It was just like, all right. It was like one of those jokes where you hear it and you understand why someone would find it funny. You just don't find it funny and you move on. It's not like a recent MCU movie where I'm just like, what? How is that supposed to be funny? He's telling you his backstory, and then someone goes, what do you want for to eat on this plane, Shang-Chi? Funny, right? Thor's having a nervous breakdown. Oh, what you made out of cheese whiz? Yeah, there's nothing like that, really. There's no joke that comes in and just completely shatters the fucking emotional value of the scene. Mainly because there's not really much of an emotional value. I didn't like a lot of the side characters. Let's just say there's a couple I didn't mind. Again, I really like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. I just wish he was in it more. I actually like what's his name, Aldous Hodge, which I like. I really liked him in he was in Invisible Man. He was also in Straight Outta Compton. I really like that actor. But his character is very one note. Hawkman. He's just like he's stern leader man. You know, he's a leader. You think of stereotypical leader, he's a leader. You know, we have to take you out, Black Adam. I forgot. I was about to say Black Panther. It didn't help that right before the movie started, they showed the trailer for Black Panther. I'm like, all right, but yeah, Black Adam. Or I guess they call him Teth Adam at that point of the movie. But we have to take you out, or whatever. I'm leader man. And then you have Atom Smasher, who's like, I'm goofy. And then you have Cyclone, who's I'm the girl, I guess. And then you got Dr. Fate, who's like, I'm here sometimes. I do things. I don't know. I was really disappointed by a lot of this movie, but a lot of other stuff I really enjoyed. I would say 40% of the movie I really enjoyed, and 60% I either didn't like or I tolerated. So I really liked 40% though. So even though it's not half, I would still give this movie like a 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5 because that 40% I liked, I really enjoyed. And I wouldn't mind seeing that stuff. Like if there's a compilation of just Dwayne Johnson murdering people. There's one scene I love actually where he him and the JSA are trying to interrogate these two guards, and of course at this point we know Black Adam he just wants to kill everybody that's evil, which hell yeah. And he just like takes them up to the sky and does like this. I don't want to even spoil. It's so good. If you see a movie, you know. I really like that scene. Wish there was more stuff like that. It starts losing its way, and then he disappears for a little while, and then it gets really boring. And I'm not gonna lie, I left the movie with a headache because I thought the last 30 minutes were fucking insufferable at times. At times, not the whole time, but at times, mainly because it's just so loud and annoying. So 60%. Most of that 60%, I would say, I know I'm doing a lot of math here. Most of that 60%, I'd say, was just kind of dull, but, you know, whatever. But, like, a portion of that 60% was just insufferable. So, maybe I should just give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think that's a fair score, honestly. It's fun. I probably enjoyed it more than I enjoyed any of the MCU movies from this year. But yeah. It's not great. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time. I'll see you guys later. I guess, should I talk about spoilers? You know what happens at the end, if you've seen the movie. Post-credit scene was really cool. We'll see what happens after. Also, it was really cool to see what's her name from Peacemaker. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, that's it. Bye.